right, folks, welcome back to PrepperNow. There's some strange phenomenon going on around us and in the skies and here on Earth as we just experienced the shortest day ever recorded. Welcome to PrepperNow.
Please, Lord, help me get one more.
All right, friends, thanks so much for being here. This message is brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you're into possibly considering doing a gold IRA or silver, check them out at AugustaPreciousMetals.com. All right. So before we get into the shortest day ever, and I know all of us feel like days are getting shorter if there's never enough time. There's another thing that's going on that I wanted to touch on before we get into this shortest day ever. And these things are harbingers of bad times to come. There is potentially a comet coming into our solar system, into Earth's view. It's large enough to where we might be able to see it through the naked eye. So this thing is 12 miles wide, and it is moving in a pretty incredible pace, and it is coming towards us here on Earth. Now, it's not going to strike us or anything, but if you know the way that comets have been told in the past as the harbingers of bad things, or just interesting phenomenon that happen in our skies, then you know that this thing will be something quite interesting to see. I'm not quite sure when it will get here. It might not even be able to be seen. It's supposedly from the Oort cloud, O-O-R-T, might even be from beyond that. These things are billions of years old. They're, of course, made of like ice and other cosmic debris. But it's heading our way, and you might be able to see it with your naked eye pretty soon as it approaches Earth's atmosphere, at least in the same neighborhood, celestially. Interesting stuff. And as you know, comets can be the harbingers of bad times, at least through folklore and fairy tales from way back when. On July 9th, you just went through the shortest day ever. Yep, that was Wednesday. The Earth's rotation is accelerating, and there are actually 2 other days. They're going to be about as short and possibly even shorter. July 22nd and August 5th are both going to be between about 1.3 and 1.5 milliseconds shorter. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but things are changing, and it might be something that is telling us strange things are afoot. Now, if you were on the live stream last night, we opened up with an interesting story showing different things from millions, thousands, hundreds of years ago that should not have been there, that are questioning our concept of history. Now, we all have heard about these things. Some of these were the batteries of ancient Egypt in the Middle East. Others a seawall in the Caribbean, which is inexplicably there. There's a rock wall in Texas. Question is, why are these things there when the technology for a lot of them had not been created yet? And oftentimes, many for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Well, there's a belief that cataclysm has happened in our history and done things to make it so things get reset. And there's a growing belief that this might be happening again. These clocks, these atomic clocks have been able to catch this little, millisecond, speed up increase of the days. Fastest day recorded before was July 5th, 2024. It spun 1.66 milliseconds faster than the standard 24 hours. So Earth goes through a day in about, I believe it's 86,400 seconds. And when things speed up, it just means that something is off. So 24 hours, 86,400 seconds, that is a solar day. So July 5th, 2024 was the previous record. Now July 9th, 2025 is the record. Our rotation, is not going to be perfect. There's always going to be little minuscule things, but they started keeping records of this about 50 years ago. And now they're noticing some things that are concerning because they don't know. Tiny changes in this can mess with GPS. They can mess with your phone networks. They can mess with financial systems. Everything that relies on a split-second accounting can be messed with. So some people believe that our days might become longer. Some believe that our days might become shorter. But we are in an interesting time period. And the reason why is because this could affect things. It could affect things like the moon. It could affect gravity. It could affect our magnetic fields. Now, we have all heard about this growing theory that Earth is going through some form of a magnetic change. And some people believe that is due to a pole shift. This doesn't exactly stop that theory from being put out there. So now it's becoming something interesting. Our core, it's molten. Basically we're not solid in the middle, and things are moving around. And they're saying it could be affecting things like earthquakes. It could be affecting things like weather. I mean, I don't have to tell you about all the flooding that has been happening in the last couple weeks. So we're just in an interesting way. So what we don't understand is why this is going on, but what we do understand is the effect that it could have. It could possibly make fall get shorter or longer, affect the leaves. It could make glaciers melt quicker or maybe freeze up a little more. It could affect things like, climate and our spin axis and everything else. I mean, the pole shift theory basically means if you look at it, and of course, if you want to go and really hear about it, go to Suspicious Observers. Strange, he's never in my feed anymore. Basically what's going on is there at some point he is saying, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm just saying this is his theory, and it has happened before, happens every 12,500 years, is that at some point things will shift in a cataclysmic way in his idea, or his, theory, and the continents will be in a different way. So Antarctica won't be at the bottom of the earth in the southern hemisphere. It'll be somewhere else, and North America might be now in the southern hemisphere. It's an interesting theory, but one has to wonder if all this stuff going on around us and the fact that there are inexplicable things in our world that question history, are we getting set up possibly for cataclysm? And is the earth, sun, moon trying to tell us something that we should be listening to? Or even God, for that matter. Friends, thanks so much for being here. Some things to consider. Tell me your thoughts. What's going on? This message has been brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. Check them out, AugustaPreciousMetals.com. And we will see you on the next one. Other links in the description. Might go live tonight, might not. I've got a musical engagement, so Crisis Report will probably be tomorrow morning, and we'll go from there. Try to slip another one out here on PrepperNow if I can, but if not, well, We'll have more tomorrow. God bless. Have a great day.